Okay, so we're going to be sending another unit here. This time, it should be less bad. There's very low public discontent. They're probably a little bit sad that we lost an entire tank division. Let's just not worry about that. This time, we'll kill these guys, which we should maybe be able to do. If we can take back Cape Town, at least hold the port back. You know, that would be nice. After that, like, all of these goddamn commissars are too big. They're too large for me to also do a summit here. Also get one of you guys going. Why not this? Why not better APCs? We've lost a battle here. Guess we like send a tank here, push, take Cape Town, and then we'll be good. Unfulfilled import request. Okay, so South Africa actually can't give us anything anymore. But nobody else in the world wants to trade with us. The South African Summit. The long-awaited day for the American Summit of the policing action in South Africa has arrived. The United States delegate gave a rather spirited speech on the necessity of the OFN to come together for this battle, lest the organization begin to fall by the wayside. Points are made that the Unity Pact's lack of cooperation led to a seemingly death of Germany, and that Japan could never rely on a united multinational military response like only the OFN could organize. A hint of fear was pushed as well, with American delegates attempting to make a point that failure to answer the threat would lead to threats coming to the members of the OFN. While Ganarov's speech received applaud, led by Deputy Secretary Steiker and other representatives from various governments in exile, and some smaller approval from Canadian and Australian delegates, others seemed hesitant. The most telling response came from the representatives from the West Indies, Iceland, and Guyana, all of whom already voiced their disagreement with the war and their involvement. President Paulbergan of Iceland and the nation's first after the end of the United States military occupation last year with the death of General Melee Jr., and known for his fiery nationalist views, led the resistance to the proposal, arguing that the various puppet states of America have never had interest in American adventures and decrying that they would never allow their blood to die on foreign soil. His own speech led to another round of applause from many other delegates. The decision was ultimately put up to a vote, and many waited in bated breath whether the OFN would prove itself an alliance of steel or one of paper. We vote for victory. I can approve your message there. No national focus is set. After this, I guess we'll... India. Well, we'll talk to those guys. Okay, our tank division has once again arrived. I don't know... You arrived over there? Okay. Come over here for right now. Like, I would like... Actually, you know, first things first. You come here. And we'll at least surround this one division. So that gives us any new abilities here. It did not. Not quite yet, at least. And just like in just a moment, once you're here, there we go. We've got like a surround on this guy. Please get him killed. Thank you very much. And now you come back down to here. Let's see if we can just take back Cape Town. Like, it'd be really nice if we can get that done. We have a research option here as well. Definitely want air support. Naval support does not seem like it'd help us out really at all. Better message. Look, we don't need any of this stuff. How is Germany doing, by the way? Spear actually is starting to turn things around. The English government that we were supporting isn't going fantastic. Also, I have been kind of ignoring this, which is my fault. We want... let's say the Great Plains. Put some support in there. Aside from that, we can send them some jets. Yeah, we'll do some of that. Maybe Spear, we can get them a little bit more powerful. And it should help us out somewhat. You're slowly on your way over. Like, I think the South African War is going to be a little bit of a stalemate for a while. Down the tubes. Richard Nixon flipped through the channels, seeing what the nightly news station were saying about him, being discussed on all the big three networks. Would usually be a desirable thing, but seeing that the cover of the Washington Post was that morning, he had a terrible sinking feeling. CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. The leaked tapes, the president used several racial epiphanies, or epithets, described the investigation, which he described as life-ending. The ABC Evening News with Ron Hotchron. The Governor Goldwater's comments about the press this afternoon. I know I do not speak alone for the Jewish people of America when I condemn the president's foul prejudice and above all demeaning choice of words in the Huntley-Brinkley report on NBC have expressed concerns for the state of the president, some going as far to call his tone raving and unhinged. White House press secretary was unavailable for Nixon switched off the TV, just as he had feared. It felt like everybody was trying to find a bone to pick with him. They wouldn't rest until they had torn down everything he had accomplished during his presidency. As he stood up and walked back to his desk, he couldn't help but wonder how much of this was simply paying the price for old sins. How the hell did the Post even get those tapes in the first place? There is such a thing as bad press. Apparently we have some free civilian factories, though. I guess we'll build one of these guys, because why not? Radar stations. Yeah, we'll build like a handful of radar stations, even though I don't think they're going to matter too much. I mean, like, what? I'm not really using my my factories for too much else, to be quite honest. And again, there's nobody else who'd trade us with, I can get a little bit more from you. Once we take back Cape Town, you are taking attrition, because you're in a desert. Once we take back Cape Town, we should hopefully be getting some more supplies in, though. So that's nice. Like, I'm like 11 to 16, 7 to 11. You're the largest one. And I wish I could send in more units than... Like, can I send any more? Or are we still stuck at 1? We're still only stuck at 1. And I don't think we can send any more aircraft in, right? No, I can. I can actually send in, like, another 150 fighters. So we're actually going to be sending in some close air support. Missile wings, interceptor wings. No. We want... How many can I send in? Yeah, I mean, you seem pretty good. Send you guys for some help here. But your tactical fighters. Would it hurt to get more of you? Okay, can I do any more stuff here? In 11 days we can. The tank's almost in position. Are you getting attacked or are you attacking? You're getting attacked. So you know what? You fight Western Cape.
Let's go.
And see if you can push your way to Cape Town. And I don't think we have any new options here, so we'll just keep on kind of interfering with what Japan's doing.
Keep on attacking.
Okay, and this is progress. This is progress. Take back Cape Town, everything will be better. Though the earth be moved. Suddenly the whole harbor of Valdez began to empty. Drains almost dry. The subterranean chasm opens directly alongside the ship. Slowly the China starts sinking down into it. Soon, there's only a mast like we've seen from the top. The dock splinters going down with it. While the crewmen try frantically to reach the people on it, no one in the dock of Valdez will survive. Longshoremen, the kids, or the dogs. An earthquake struck south central Alaska at 5:36 p.m. for nearly 5 minutes, causing massive fissures that damaged roads and buildings across the state. Subsequent tidal waves brought further devastation to the settlements along the southern coast. Reporting an epicenter near Prince William Sound, only 78 miles east of the Alaska's largest city. Initial analysis for the United States Geological Survey indicate the magnitude of 9.2, stronger than San Francisco in 1906. Governor William Egan had declared a state of emergency for the entirety of Alaska, mobilizing the state's National Guard to begin initial disaster relief in Anchorage and the port of Valdez. President Richard Nixon followed suit by directing the Navy and Coast Guard to construct search and rescue operations along the coast. However, inclement weather conditions and damaging infrastructure may preclude more extensive relief operation until Sunday at the latest. Total damage and casualties from the earthquake are yet to be determined, although estimates are both high. Alaskans are reportedly caught off guard due to preparations for Good Friday, and the event's sudden occurrence had left them with no time to react to either the tremor or the tsunami. Metropolitan Ambrose and the Orthodox Church of America have called for Alaskans of every faith and creed to treat their fellow Alaskans the benefits worthy of our Lord God, as we rebuild from the tragedy that has struck the Great and Holy Friday. Only 0.3 levels of damage really is not so bad. East Stokes Revenge. As families across Alaska were sitting down for dinner, a sudden series of tremors erupted, lasting for almost 5 minutes. After the dust had settled, over 100 people lay dead in what we now know as the most powerful earthquake in North American history. In addition to the tremors themselves, the state has been wrecked by landslide, fissures, and tsunamis, as well as the widespread destruction of roads and railways. The rescue effort is ongoing, with survivors and bodies being pulled from the collapsed building in Anchorage. The emergency services were woefully unprepared for the disaster of this magnitude and do not have the resources to adequately deal with it. If we send disaster relief immediately, it will boost our political capital, but not only in Alaska, but across the nation if we prove that we are capable of protecting our citizens. Is this a real earthquake that actually happened? I don't know too much about Alaskan earthquakes. You know, it's not my specialty here. So you're on your way. You're going to be there in 3 days. Attrition is extremely high. A solid NPP campaign. After that, we're going to... When do we get this available to us? Probably just be in a moment. Polls have been updated. Is this a Yaki run? This is a run where I just kind of... There's no real goal. Or no, like not a goal per se. There's no clear path in which I'm kind of aiming for. I'm just kind of going with the flow, more or less. When can I do you, please? Kennedy shows his true colors. Among the guiding principles of our nation is the belief that all men are created equal before the law. There is nobody in our government, nor should there be anybody who considers himself immune to the very laws he swore to defend and uphold. This is not a matter of partisanship, this is a matter of democracy and dictatorship, of Americanism and anti-Americanism. Vice President Kennedy, are you insinuating that the investigation into the president for criminal activity is justified? I am saying that any question of wrongdoing on the president's part can only be answered in the court of law. If President Nixon is impeached and removed from office, how will you react? I will respect the decision of the Senate. Nixon grabbed his clicker and switched off the television with a grunt of frustration. He thought that Kennedy would smooth things over at the press conference. Instead, he all but admitted that he was leaving his own president out to dry. Every day it felt like another prominent member of his administration was issuing some kind of veiled condemnation, hoping to save their own hides if he went down. Just like rats on a sinking ship.
Keep your distance.
Well, one of you guys... just march to Cape Town, take the city. That's all you gotta do, and things would work out pretty well. I guess you go to Purple Army. I guess it's actually pink, but don't worry about that too much. Apparently we're also not building strategic bombers. Fighter, carrier, close air support, gunship, transport plane, biplane, interceptor. There you are. Let's build one of those guys for now as well. I mean, this line is still okay. They have 93 planes. We only have 24 active fighters. Just like all the buttons. Okay, well now Cape Town has a troop in it. We actually might be able to kill this guy and kind of surround Cape Town. That'd be nice for us. Dr. Strangelove. When the movie came out, I had no idea what to make of it. Stanley Kubrick directing a comedy and a satire of nuclear organic at that? Of how the U.S. Air Force general gone completely insane and thinking that the Japanese were destroying America from within by destroying preciously bodily fluid with fluoride and order a nuclear strike on them? American audiences, I thought that someone could just order a nuclear attack on a whim was something that could only happen from Germany or Tokyo, not in the good old USA. Flailing efforts to recall the bombers and the German revelation of a doomsday device that would kill all life on Earth as bombers headed for Japan just further confounds the audience expectations. Movies showed that everyone, from the unnamed yet all-powerful and raving Nazi Fuhrer to the over-ceremonial puppet Japanese emperor, were all just incompetent as any corrupt politician elected in the United States, especially in the face of nuclear Armageddon. Yet, Dr. Strangelove is much more than a surreal look at mid-20th century fears of nuclear war. It'll be recognized by future generations as a classic of filmmaking. Kubrick's obsessive attention to detail in everything from the camera work to the exact facial expressions of the actors on screen, the brilliant acting of Peter Sellers in 3 separate roles as a British emerge RCAF officer who tries to restrain the American general, the unready and soft-spoken president of the United States thrust into a diplomatic crisis, and the creepy and comedic Dr. Strangelove, a Russian scientist who has been a crazy idea of how to build the United States after the aftermath of the now inevitable nuclear war involving crossbreeding people with plants, the over-the-top and hammy acting of George C. Scott as he reveals just how the world will end, the American B-52 flying low over Kanto plains, with his arms stretched out and making sound effects with his mouth. Cowboy riding the bomb down like a bull at a Texas rodeo to liberate a Japanese military base, and finally a montage of nuclear bombs exploding to the haunting Maybe by the ink spots. It is perhaps a dark comedy, funny in the face of terror, horrifying despite the levity. It brings a stark contrast with the ideas of mutually assured destruction to an audience that didn't quite comprehend the fact that nuclear war will be the last war. It could all happen because of a mistake. Chicago Tribune, 1964. You think the deadly earthquake was in Alaska? I mean, as far as I know, like earthquakes, they're not like random, are they? I mean, they're kind of random. Like, I know we don't have a way to really detect them very well. Ford debuts the Mustang. In New York City, Ford astounded the world, but will surely become an all-American classic. Suddenly gleamed from its long, shiny red hood, the frame that carried a sleek and felt like Hollywood prima donna. The chrome bumpers, her ritzy ringlets, necklaces, earrings, cabin lay bare to the elements, as if it wished to show the world the velvet cushions that lined its seats. Silvers and ivories topped every knob and handle. When the company salesman keyed the engine, it purred like a docile house cat. While he stepped up to the pedal, it roared with pride and darted around the track like as a man-made cheetah. The crowd of 100 became thousands, eyes transferred at the engineering marvel that graced the World's Fair with its presence. They were greeted with numbers and features. Moments later, 3,000 pounds of tendered steel, rear-wheel drive, over 15 feet of bumper-to-bumper, 3 sprawling manual transmissions, V8 engines rated over 200 horsepower, Olympian in the shape of a car, yours at a low, low price, $23.68. How much is that in today's dollars? Got no clue. Probably, like, a decent amount. Okay, so you are gonna die. You're at least surrounded now. Will one of you guys actually kill him off? Hopefully. You're 1.69 years ahead of time. You're ahead of time. You're ahead of time. The problem, like, being in the United States is, like, everything is so expensive. Or not so expensive. Everything's, like, already, like, up to date, which makes things a little bit difficult. Max speed, max range. Now let's go for hit chance plus 10%. I don't know how much our Navy is really going to be coming into play here, but Scotland asked to buy fighters. As part of their military modernization efforts, the Scottish government has reached out to Washington to request the sale of 50 American fighter craft to bolster their air force. They're willing to offer good money in return to any spare stock that we can afford to part with, even some of our more outdated aircraft. While this would no doubt be an effective and profitable use of our older craft than just sitting in mothballed, some of our more conservative advisors suggest that we retain all craft we get, or at least wait for a better offer. No, I think we can sell them off. Yeah. I don't see a reason not to, really. We'll campaign in the strong lead. Is there anywhere where we don't have a strong lead? Let's go to the East Coast. West Coast, Central East Coast. Sure. I mean, that seems maybe about right. And you, I think, are probably another tank division. Just sign you over to Prink as well. But you know what? We'll do it. Entry 43. Some cop thought it was a good idea to snoop behind a jalopy. And now my skull split open like a watermelon. Well, not actually split open, but you know what I mean. At least I'm baked enough to strong out the migraine a little bit. Gotta ask Carlos where he gets his blood sometimes. We're buddies, so it's no big deal, right? It's no fun grounding yourself in your own house because of an injury. Nothing to do but toke, watch the bullshit the media shovels, maybe get around to finishing coursework. Just kidding, I haven't touched a textbook in months. So just toke and watch bullshit, pretty much. Seeing your mug for a flash second before Crocodile plays the script around hooligans in the streets to get hold, then quick. Eerie thought I should get a hobby. I say why bother? All I'm good at is smoking pot and giving myself a concussion for doing the decent thing. That and the army's out of to hand me my papers any day now. What do hobbies matter? When the Nazi bound to riddle my chest with lead either way. Can't understand her sometimes, honestly, but I guess that's part of her charm. Her helplessness and sunny, bright look, I mean. In other news, prom's coming up. Like, I could either go stag or go with someone. Kidding again. Who's the poor sap who'd want to partner up with the poor old me? The food's free, and that's all that matters. I'll probably just loiter around and leave as soon as I have my fill of the buffet line. Saving a dance for the phonies, lucky enough to have the future. I'll write more tomorrow when I find something to talk about. Tomorrow, day after that, next after trip, who knows? I wish I could, like, I wish I could send more troops. I mean, I really don't have much say, honestly, on whether or not we actually win the South African War. Seeing as, I can't send more units in here. I have one tank, and that's really about it. The government prevails in the English Civil War. The HMMLR organization has been defeated, reducing a band of roving guerrillas. So unfortunately, like, our side did lose the war in England. Which is not great, I think. President's Daily Brief. Mr. President, we believe that the best way to curtail Japanese economic and military powers is to draw them into new and escalating conflicts. Get them bogged down in a new jungle war, and they'll feel the pain. President Nixon, not carefully considering his advisor's comment. Alright, Bob, go on. One of Gnarma's sides walks up to a pair of rolled-out maps. Each one bears a detailed map of a Southeast Asian country. Two of the large potential targets are Indonesia and the Philippines. Indonesia is both a literal and political archipelago, rivaled by Japanese resource extraction, military regimes, and NATO collaborators. Meanwhile, the Philippines is a rebellious nation, as we know well, and the population is believed very resentful of occupiers. Both countries have very active groups that we could use as proxies against Tokyo. Nixon presses his hand together in a gesture of confirmation, staring at the black and red markings that dot the map. Okay, Bob. What form of a proxy warfare are we talking? McNara's aide pulls out more maps, more lists, more explanations. Over the course of the morning, a bloody strategy to drive a new knives of the Empire of Japan takes form. So, after that, Indonesia calls our friends in the Philippines. Yeah, let's go for the Philippines first. Then more units of focus and decisions. Discontent will fall. We get the draft. Is there any other options here? Hear about India.